welcome back to another episode of Politically Razi. I'm your host, Sara Razi, and I'm back from my hiatus. During these last few weeks, I was incredibly busy with 3 summer classes, and I went through an entire political ideology change. In this episode, I will be talking about my ideology change, my political background, my policies, and most importantly, why I left the leftists for the libertarians. First of all, my interest in politics began on August 4th, 2019, the day India declared its lockdown on Kashmir. Kashmir is a disputed territory belonging to 3 countries, India, Pakistan, and China, and it is full of an entire Muslim population connecting to the Himalayan mountains. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared a lockdown on the Indian-administered part of Kashmir, which led to the lethal night raids of villages where Indian soldiers took Muslim men out of the houses and killed them as they took women out of their houses and raped them just for being Muslim on an Indian-administered part of land. This is an example of religious discrimination. So let me be clear. This is an ongoing issue that has pushed me into getting involved politically as a human rights activist because I believe that everybody in the world has a right to religious determination and should not be prosecuted due to religious differences. In order to continue my activism, I joined 2 clubs such as my political science club at my college and most importantly, Students for Global Citizenship, in which I'm the vice president of. By joining these 2 clubs, I began to debate and to hear other people of different political ideologies speak and share their opinions. So basically, I became a political junkie, and in order to improve my debating and presenting skills, I took public speaking, in which I presented 3 speeches, one on Kashmir, the other on abortion, which I took a pro-choice stance, and the last on abolishing the death penalty. Therefore, these 3 issues brought me into the Democratic Party as a progressive, and sooner or later, I discovered Bernie Sanders' campaign. Bernie Sanders' campaign taught me 4 main issues that needed to be passed, such as Medicare for all, Green New Deal, college for all, and taxing the rich. However, there were many issues that we fail to understand when it comes to socialism. Number 1, higher tax reduces incentives to invest and work. Number 2, entrepreneurs may prefer to move to tax havens abroad. Excess labor market regulation can lead to less employment and structural employment. Powerful unions can cause antagonism between workers and owners. In a socialist society, there will be a rationing of healthcare. In a publicly funded healthcare system, also known as in the UK, doctors face greater financial constraints. Some non-urgent operations will be rationed, and there will be longer waiting lists than in a private system. Therefore, instead of having Medicare for all, we must expand Medicaid and protect privatized healthcare. Most importantly, the major issue about socialism is that you will eventually run out of other people's money, and then what? Bread lines and still water for breakfast? I don't think so. Therefore, with the issues I previously listed, I have stopped being a socialist and began educating myself about healthcare and the economy. And now, flash forward back to Super Tuesday when I was still a leftist, rooting for Bernie Sanders over Joe Biden because due to Biden's record, he has done nothing but increase federal funding for his COPS program and corrupted the justice system by his 1994 crime bill. However, on the day of Super Tuesday, both presidential candidates, Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg, dropped out of the race almost at the same time and quickly endorsed Joe Biden. I discovered this pattern and realized that states that Bernie failed to win due to both candidates dropping out and bringing the votes to Biden. And I knew something was odd because the timing was impeccable. From that day forward, I said goodbye to the Democratic Party, which betrayed its own party member behind his back in order to form a mini alliance to have an Obama 2.0 presidency. And then here's my other issue with the entire Democratic Party. I call them the mafia because you can't fucking trust them, but here's the issue. Then on April 8th, 2020, Bernie Sanders suspended his campaign and immediately endorses Joe Biden with no excuse but to take down Trump. You want to take down Trump? Like, okay, listen, I don't like Trump, I don't like his policies, but his excuse and his freaking tweets are, we must defeat Trump. So you're going to abandon all your policies, everything that you worked for from the beginning of your political career, just to take down a politician. So you're going to abandon your movement just to take down another politician. That does not seem like who Bernie Sanders really is. It seems like he's being controlled by the Democratic Party to do so. Some phone calls were made, and they all plan to just take down Trump. This does not seem like a coincidence. So with me being an angry little leftist, I left the Democratic Party and signed up to work for the Green Party, which made me even more angry. But then on May 12th, the day of my sociology final, I received a text from my good friend Kayla Thompson, who said, Hey Sarah, would you like to join my podcast? We are all students from Texas State, and since you're a leftist, we need more views. And then I was like, oh God, hold up. All these people are conservatives, and I'm about to be outnumbered. So I was 1 second away from declining the offer until I heard of another socialist in the podcast named Darren. Shout out to Oxymoron, man. So then, due to feeling a bit more comfortable that I wasn't the only left-winger, I signed on and was exposed to conservative views. So then, a month into the podcast, I was exposed to the Libertarian Party, which firmly believes in the right to life, liberty, and property. The first thing that attracted me to the Libertarian Party was property, because I'm in real estate and I believe that housing is a human right, and homeowners deserve the right to their own property and have the right to protect their own property. Another reason why I became a libertarian is due to taxation. I strongly believe that taxation is theft because the answer is pretty simple. The government is taking other people's property without their consent. When the government taxes citizens, this means that the government demands money from each citizen under a threat of force, and if you don't pay, then armed agents hired by the government will take you away and lock you in a cage. So therefore, this is a clear case of someone's property being taken without their consent. Therefore, the government is a thief. Another reason why I became a libertarian is due to taxation. I strongly believe that taxation is theft because the answer is pretty simple. The government is taking other people's property without their consent. When the government taxes citizens, this means that the government demands money from each citizen under a threat of force, and if you don't pay, then armed agents hired by the government will take you away and lock you in a cage. So therefore, this is a clear case of someone's property being taken without their consent. Therefore, the government is a thief. Along with taxation and personal property, I grew an interest in the Libertarian Party's views on a non-interventionist foreign policy, healthcare, and the right for each individual to have their own freedom. My ideology change occurred when I was introduced to economic liberalism and a free market economy from the libertarian viewpoint, as well as the protests, riots, and looting which occurred in late May to June. As I observed the riots and looting, all I saw on the news was buildings burning, fire everywhere, people breaking and entering. And for what? To take advantage of a black man's death by police brutality? Let me ask the leftists that are watching me speak right now, will mass destruction ever implement change in a corrupt government? Will burning the American flag, tearing down statues, bring back the lives that were lost to police brutality? As the world was falling apart, with mass destruction everywhere, the only unified force in my life was my political podcast. These people have changed my perspective on life and have opened up my eyes to economic liberalism and the right to a free market economy. With small government, we can ensure that the economy will be regulated smoothly. In the depths of mass destruction and violence in the last 2 months of my life, I have defended pro-lifers from scrutiny. I have lost many of my high school friends due to it. I've lost many due to defending the people that I care about, the right to protect our cities from riots and looting. Mass destruction will never create unity, but taking legislative action will. And this is why I'm more than grateful to have left the left and became a right-wing libertarian. And I'm not saying that all leftists have participated in violence, but the actions and behavior that I have seen challenged my morals and values. Letting go of what I fought for in the beginning of my political career in order to make this country stronger again was the hardest thing that I've ever done, and I'm not sorry. In conclusion, I would like to thank Senator Bernie Sanders for radicalizing me and getting me into politics to begin with. And now here's to the start of a brand new chapter onto the dark side. Thanks for watching this episode, guys, and make sure to tune in for my next episode where I will be debating a friend on the death penalty next Monday. This is Politically Razi signing off. Peace out.